Good morning.
Happy Wednesday.
This is the WOW Podcast, Wendy's on Wellness Wednesday, WOWW. I am Dr. Wendy Sue Massey. I am an alternative medical practitioner, an author, owner of Freedom Holistic Wellness, wife, mom, Gigi, cook, gardener, all the things. This is my amazing friend, Wendy Flournoy.
Hey guys, Wendy Flournoy, certified hypnotherapist, herbalist, forager, educator, wife, mom, Gigi, janitor, and bestie to Dr. Wendy.
That's right, girl. That's right. So I just have to tell you, my heart is so full because literally just before we went live, I heard a voicemail from my beautiful granddaughter and her saying, "I love you, Gigi."
I love the bye, sugar.
She said, "Bye, sugar." I got both my grands calling me sugar. It's so funny. Over the weekend. Must have been Saturday or Sunday. I was talking to Kirsty on the phone and I thought Alexa was with her because I heard in the background, "Hi, sugar. Hi, sugar." And it was Carter.
Aww.
It's like my baby's calling me sugar now. I love it.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So
I had two of my grands come over Mother's Day and help me plant. I got my Roselle hibiscus in and they helped me do it. And I love that. And so I had on my gardening gloves. So both of them had said something about needing gloves. So, I popped right on Amazon and ordered some kid gardening gloves.
Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, I love that.
I want to encourage them to love planting and growing.
Absolutely. I love that. So you had a good Mother's Day?
Yes, I hope everybody did. I did.
Yes.
My youngest prince and his princess came down from Fredericksburg and on Saturday, and we were able to hang out and spend some time. And he brought me the most beautiful yellow roses.
Oh,
went to dinner. Yeah, when you get our age, all you want is time with them. That's it.
Oh my gosh. I know. That is so special. I didn't get to see mine this year. This is the first Mother's Day I haven't been with my kids and grandkids in forever, but we did it by design because we're going, I'm going to be taking my mama up there the 1st of July, okay. But Matthew arrived on Monday, my son. And so, cause he's here spending 3 weeks to do a project he's doing a deck and a big extensive ramp for my mom to come up to the main part of the house. So yeah, it's going to be a lot.
What's the goal date for mom to be there?
A week from Saturday. Okay. So the 24th.
Oh, wow. Crunch time.
Yes. So y'all say a prayer, not just for the situation, but for my husband, that he does not fall victim to his wife's nagging. That he's not moving fast enough to get the everything done that we have to do to get my mom here. So, yes, pray for him, please, because
I'm gonna pray for all of you.
Yeah. I am not the easiest when there are deadlines looming and I'm and I can't control them because I am not a plumber, so it's driving me nuts. But anyway,
well, it's hard when you only have a certain limited amount of time and it has to get done. You don't have a choice. Yeah. I know I had planned over the weekend to do my fermented vegetables and things like that, but I looked at the weather and I was like, oh, it is supposed to rain every day this week. So I had to, that rigid flexibility.
Yes. We thrive in rigid flexibility.
So I had to rearrange things and okay, I'm gonna work outside. Everything else can wait inside till it's raining.
That's perfect. That's perfect. We did get our trees planted over the weekend. All 17 of them. Woo, girl, that was a job. And it's so funny. This is where it's not fair for me to be naggy with Bill, because he'll be in the middle of doing something that I have nagged him to death about. And then I'll come pouting that I'm struggling with what I'm doing, that I told him wasn't going to pull him
away. Same thing happens to Rick and I all the time. I think I can handle a job by myself and I end up needing something, which leads to him having to do 3 other things before he can do what I asked him to originally.
Even my son had to call me out on it yesterday because I was whining because Bill got off work early and was supposed to be working on the bathroom downstairs. Well, Matthew and I are outside. We bring home the chickens. We start tearing up the outside bed, and I'm doing things that I can't do. Like I can't lift certain things. He sees me struggling. So what does Bill do? He comes over and he's lifting all these, all these cinder blocks for me, and he's helping Matthew dig up, shrubs I'm wanting moved and a rose bush that I'm wanting moved and all this stuff. And then we get to the end of the day, and I'm like, you didn't get very far on the bathroom.
What is wrong with you, Bill? I mean,
terrible. I'm just like, somehow I think that he needs to just multiply into 3 or 4 people. So Saturday, that's what I was going to get to. Saturday, I start planting the trees. Okay. I've dug 3 holes. I dug them. It was like butter. No problem. Had 0 issues. Digging those holes. I'm like, oh.
Getting excited because this is going easy.
3 down, 14 to go. I got this. I get to holes 4, 5, and 6. And those 3, well, the first of those 3 took me longer than those first 3 I did. The rock on that end of the orchard is so bad up underneath and all the stuff that we unearthed. I had to go over to Bill pouting and said, baby, I need you to go to Home Depot and get an auger. Couldn't stand it. It was too much. So he went and rented an auger for a whopping 2 hours.
Right.
Dug all the holes, took it back. So of course, gee, why are things not getting done that I've asked you to do? Because I keep interrupting you and making you help me.
I know. I was telling Rick about this story with everything you were uncovering in the ground, trying to get the trees in. He's like, well, if we would have known, we have that auger sitting in the garage. I'm like, I know. I could have taken it up there. They could have used it.
I didn't even think about it. But I tell you, it's beautiful. They're all in now.
Nice.
Sunday, I spent all day. I had the kids laughing at me. I was measuring the sun all day. I set an alarm for myself for 7 a.m., 10, 1, 4, and 7.
Yes.
And went out there and just journaled where all over I walked the whole 2 acres every single one of those times to figure out exactly where the sun was coming in. So I knew where I wanted to plant everything. So
I was doing the same thing on Sunday because we're trying to move my asparagus patch and because the neighbor stuff is coming over and it's not getting enough sun, and I can't keep fighting the neighbor stuff. I can only keep it, do so much. So we were doing the same thing, watching it. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm studying the sun path.
It makes a difference. And it's funny because it's not necessarily what you think.
Yeah.
Do you ever get surprised? Like that was a really interesting exercise because there were certain areas I was convinced were full sun that I found out weren't. And then there were other areas that I was convinced would never tolerate full sun plants. And I'm like, oh, this had sun all day over here, So it was a really neat. I highly encourage any of you all out there that are looking to plant things in your yard, whether it be, just for beauty or medicinal or,
no matter what.
Perennials, anything. Get out there and study where that sun hits in your yard because that's such important information.
Yeah, and even the difference between morning sun and afternoon sun makes a difference because I have an area in the side of my house, where I'm planting everything new this year, and it gets just like a touch of dappled morning sun, but it gets afternoon sun all afternoon, all evening. So it's like it makes a difference on what I wanted to plant there because
yeah. So where I told you that I'm thinking about doing the elderberries.
Yes.
I'm thinking about lining all around the compost fence that I've got. So for those of y'all who haven't seen it, I have a little a little potting shed, and it has a fence, and it's about a 16 by 16 area, I'd say.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, that's a good size.
And 15 by 15, 16 by 16, something like that. I was measuring it based on where they had their posts in there. But anyway, I'm thinking about doing the elderberry. I was going to do it up front of it, but the more I watched the sun, half of it gets really good morning, early afternoon sun, and the other half gets great afternoon to evening sun.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to go all the way around and just let them, both sides. Yep. We'll just see.
Yeah, because that would be a perfect area, because anything that any babies that spread out from the fence, you can just mow it down.
Yeah.
Because they are, man.
They go wild.
Once they get established and go, they're like pawpaws.
Yeah. That's cool. But yeah, lots of fun stuff happening around here. I'm excited to show pictures of what we did with the chicken coop and chicken run. We've got we did this at the old house where we just we protected them by putting cinder blocks all the way around the outside, because it prevents things from wanting to dig and, it
come in.
So we did that after we had a possum get in one time and kill one of our chickens. So we said, all right, let's line this up really well. So we had already planned on doing that, but because we were moving this one bed out here for what Matthew's working on, and all of their cinder blocks had mud and cute little white flowers in it. Nice. So we moved the whole thing's flowers and all, and it's so cute. It's just like, it just makes the chicken area look like a little cottage garden.
That's right.
Anybody that has chickens knows that they don't keep the cleanest area.
Yeah. And the good thing about using cinder blocks like that is you can plant anything in there.
Yeah.
To share with them.
Yeah. I thought that was
I love it.
Yeah.
Who says chicken coops can't be pretty?
That's right. That's right. So let's talk about any last moment stuff we wanted to talk about from the Seeking Whole Health Conference. Just any final thoughts?
Well, I'm going to tell you what, I'm having some tea from a place that I bought some tea from at the conference. And isn't that beautiful? And it's called Herbal Kool-Aid.
I love
Amazing. Made by Wild Meadow Herbal Company. The owner is Tina Miller. They're in Ohio, very small herbal company. And they can be found at Wild Meadow Herbals on Instagram and at Etsy. But this is amazing.
That's awesome.
I bought it to try it for the grands, and you can make the whole package, steep it, cool it, add your sweetener, which could be maple syrup or honey.
Yeah.
It's very, very good. I like it hot, and then I just added my green tea and jasmine to it.
I love that.
My morning green tea.
It's
hibiscus.
I can tell.
Lips, dandelion leaf, lemon balm, and peppermint.
Nice.
What a great way to get in good medicinals.
Yes. They sparked me. I haven't opened them yet, but I got two of theirs. I got the Nourishing Gut and I got the Meadow Mint while we were there. And I'll just tell you, for anybody interested, the Nourishing Gut is plantain, cleavers, hyssop, marshmallow leaf, calendula, dandelion leaf, rose petals, chamomile, ginger, hibiscus, and peppermint.
Nice.
A lot power packed into that.
Yes, it is.
And then the Meadow Mint, which I wanted for the flavor to mix with my green tea.
Yeah.
Peppermint, meadow sweet, lemon balm, stinging nettle, hibiscus, and chamomile. That's going to be delicious.
That is also, she noticed a difference for allergies and stuff.
Oh yeah, you're exactly right. And the lemon balm we have growing out in the garden, we have tons.
You have a ton of that.
Yes. I had Bill taste it and he was like, that's really good. I said, I know. It's amazing.
That's one of my grandson, Kason. He's 5 and he loves the lemon balm.
Oh, it's so good.
Because the mints that I have growing, he says, are too spicy.
Oh.
Gigi, that's too spicy. I like the lemon balm. I was like, okay, let's go get some lemon balm.
And
lemon balm is so highly medicinal. It's really an underrated herb because it does so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's excellent. It is excellent. So besides what you actually, while we're on what we bought, did your Barreau water?
Yes.
I
Yes.
haven't set mine up yet, but it arrived. Did you see that they announced that the fluoride filters?
I got the email for the fluoride filters are now available, so I will be getting that as soon as possible.
Yes, that's perfect for your water.
Yes, if anybody doesn't know, I am on county water, and it's full of fluoride and full of crap. So that Barreau water filter pretty much keeps everything out except the fluoride, and now they've come out with the fluoride filter.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah. Our water actually tastes amazing. I got it because I was going to get one of those like Culligan water cooler type things for my mom downstairs, so she could always have fresh water. And when Wendy and I saw this, I was like, could spend $280 on this that will last.
Yes.
And that includes enough filters for 2 years.
Yeah.
Or I could spend $30 a month, on bottled water that I don't really know how good it is. And our water tastes amazing.
Right.
It's just, I really wanted something to filter out the glyphosates because daggone it, we got a field behind us and we just watched them spray day before yesterday. So, I know that they're spraying out there, and our well, even though it's a little ways off, but it's downhill from that. And I just don't want to risk it.
Yeah.
So I figured that'd be the perfect way to.
Better safe than sorry when it comes to things like that, know.
And glyphosates are one of the things that they said their filters handle very well when they tested it. They did third-party testing. But for anybody that's interested, it's Barreau, BOROUX, right?
Yes.
And then one other thing I bought that I am loving, and I should have brought it in here because I don't remember the name. I'll have to share. Oh, I do. Was it Apothecary Mama? Was that her name? It was something Mama.
Bohemian
Mama.
She was amazing.
So their tooth powder, I shared last week that it was already clearing up. I clearly needed the remineralization of the bentonite clay. This blend is incredible. Even my son made the comment. He was like, Mama, your teeth are so much better. It was really getting bad.
You inspired me to go back to using mine, and I can tell a difference already.
Oh, what a difference. I was starting to have gum bleeding, all this stuff.
Right.
None of that now. It's all cleared up, and I've been using it for a whopping week and a half, y'all.
Yep.
Look for that. You can certainly make this yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
But
bentonite clay mixed with a little activated charcoal, put some peppermint in there. That's pretty much all you need.
And baking soda is in there.
Yeah, just a little baking soda. I found that too much baking soda actually makes my gums bleed.
Well, and I think that's what
start off with if you're going to make it yourself, start off with just a little and see how you do with it.
Yeah. It's working fantastic. Nice. I could not be happier. Look, y'all actually see me smiling. I had gotten to where I was very self-conscious. I'm like, here, I'm this health nut, and I can't figure out what the heck is going on with my stupid teeth. Right. It was driving me crazy. I would have pictures taken, like just random ones. Like Bill would take a picture, and I'd be like, if you post that, I will kill you. Right. Because I have a natural big old smile with these stained looking teeth. It was terrible.
Girl, I know, because I love to smile. I love to laugh. And it is nothing worse than being self-conscious about that.
Yeah, where you're like, keeping your mouth closed. And
trying not to. And
you and I don't keep our mouths closed too easy. So I highly recommend that Bohemian Mama tooth powder or make it yourself. But I think the key was the blend for me, because I've been using baking soda for years. I had switched to that earth paste. Yeah. Again,
probably the key in that for you is more than likely it's the bentonite clay.
I think so.
Because I know I made an activated charcoal tooth powder and it was okay, but it really went top notch when I added the bentonite clay.
Yeah. And that adds so many of the minerals that you need back into your mouth, back into your teeth, back to the enamel. And clearly that's what I needed, because as soon as I switched over to that,
cleared it right up.
Oh my gosh. Completely.
And I tell you what, bentonite clay is really, really good as a face mask too. It will clear things out and detoxify. And
you know, That's what I use for my armpit detox.
No, bentonite clay. Yeah, that's perfect for that.
I do, and we are totally off track, but whatever. Y'all take
notes.
It's
okay. Y'all are used to that, right?
this is what we do when we talk normal. So I mean, y'all just take notes. Well, you'll catch up, I promise. No, I do an armpit detox and encourage people to do it, where you just put like a tablespoon of raw apple cider vinegar, the unfiltered, with quarter cup of the bentonite clay, and you turn it into a paste. You put that stuff on your pits, and let it stay for like 15-20 minutes, and then get in the shower and wash it off. Y'all, if you do that a few days in a row, you are going to detox your armpits from all of the horrible toxins in your body.
Yes. Especially if you're in the process of switching over from using aluminum deodorant to a clean deodorant. You will notice a difference doing that. You will detox a lot faster. So there's a how do I put this politely? A smelly period from detoxing.
I'm telling you, I've told this story so many times, and it's gross. Y'all buckle up. Y'all don't know what you were joining us for today. So the very first time I ever did it, and I was in a very stressful period. My daddy was sick. He was going through his chemo and all that kind of stuff. And I was traveling down to Richmond to take him this one particular day for one of his treatments, and to spend a little bit of time with him. And I decided the day before to do an armpit detox. Well, I didn't think anything of it.
We just do it.
Right. I'm sitting there in I'm thinking I'm just doing this. I'm going to wash it all off, and move on with my life. And I did it like 3 days in a row. Like I tell people, well, this was after day 3. I'm sitting in the hospital waiting for my daddy's chemo to finish up. And all of a sudden it was like the floodgates opened. It was so gross. I mean, the stuff that was pouring out of me, I was going, oh, so it's a good thing, y'all. You need to get that stuff out of you, but be warned that you
might want to stay home for a little bit. Yeah, because I know my experience was, what is that?
It stinks.
What is that smell? And then when you realize it's yourself.
That's when you know how bad you need to detox.
But I'm going to tell you what, once you get through that, I mean, nowadays, one tiny swipe of the clean deodorant, and that's all I need. And some days I can even forget and not even worry about it, because I don't smell like I used to smell.
No. Well, it's toxins in, toxins out, right? Yes. So when you're fueling your body well, when you're, it's like that post that I did this morning. It's just,
if y'all didn't see it, you need to go check it out. Wendy's post this morning. It was on point, beautiful, and amazing.
Well, thank you. But I'll tell you what really sparked that is I was studying in Proverbs this morning. It was, 5:30 in the morning. And what was I reading? Proverbs 13, 14, and 15 today. And Proverbs 15:14 just jumped out at me. And it basically, and I don't remember it word for word, but it's basically, when you're putting good into your body, you're going to produce good fruit. When you're putting trash into your body, you're going to produce the same. Yeah, and, you're going to produce the trash. So you got to stop treating your body like a garbage can. And so this is exactly the same thing, babe. It's, garbage in, garbage out. If you are fueling your body with toxins, if you are continuing to poison yourself, you got to get the garbage out, and that's and you're going to stink. Reality.
It's trash.
It's trash. Trash stinks, So you are what you eat. I'm not calling anybody trash. I'm just saying, I have a magnet on my fridge. I don't know if you saw it or if you've seen it before. My girlfriend Jerry gave it to me, and I thought it was so funny. She said, "You are what you eat." It says, "You are what you eat." So don't be cheap, easy, and fake.
I love it. I love it.
She thought of me immediately. I said, I hope it's because I tell people not to be cheap, easy, and fake, and not because you think I'm cheap, easy, or fake.
We have a question on the Facebook comments. Melody is asking what kind of clay. We're talking about bentonite clay.
Yeah. Bentonite clay. I'm so glad you're reading that. I can't ever see my Facebook when we're doing this.
I know you can't. That's why I try to have it on, and just to see if we have any questions so we can answer it right then. Because a lot of times when I go back and look at it later, I have no idea what they're asking about.
Yeah, for sure. Girl. So the only other thing I could say about things I've purchased is I purchased a ton of books.
Me
while
too.
I was there.
Yes.
And I've been immersed in these books. It's
so much to learn. And I'll tell you what, I was actually given a free book that I've been kind of immersed in just because it's my jam.
Was that from the herbal guy?
Yes. This practical home herbal guide is absolutely amazing. And I'm like, they have chalked so much information into this little book. I feel like everybody should have one.
Neat.
And I'm like,
what's the author? I wonder if it's on Amazon.
It's actually multiple master herbalist authors.
Really?
So it's kind of like a collaboration that they've just kind of put together.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, and then it was revived. It was like one herbalist made this her mission, and she got all the other herbalists to join in on it, and she put it together. Nice. I'm like, that is amazing. Her name is the one that oversaw it all, herbalist Jennifer Ochinato.
Okay. Well, hopefully it's available on Amazon, because if that's one I'll probably end up grabbing myself then, because apparently the 20 books I purchased are not enough, because I didn't just purchase books there.
Well, I'll tell you what, they have amazing information in here, amazing recipes. So when I concoct some of these, I will share the recipes and we'll give them credit, because this is just amazing.
That's awesome.
All in one little book. So I have just been thoroughly going through that. And of course, there's some good stuff in this issue too.
Oh yes.
You guys, this is an absolute amazing resource. Christian Herbal Magazine. Yes. They always have great information, great recipes. That is how Wendy and I found out about the Seeking Whole Health Conference. Yes. So just an amazing little magazine, and it's affordable.
Yeah, very affordable. Yeah, I can't say enough good stuff about that. And Jasmine Lucero, the publisher, just salt of the earth woman. I love that woman. Really enjoyed meeting her weekend before last. When was it?
Time flying. We say that every time. Time's flying.
I know. My goodness. But we're all set up to go next year. Everybody else needs to join too. It'll be awesome. Right. With any luck, I have applied to be a speaker next year. We'll see what happens. I know she's got a lot of people knocking on her door because they've got quite a movement. But but if so, that'd be great. If not, Wendy and I are still thinking about having a booth there.
Yes.
We really would like to, just because, I mean, these are our people. This was the perfect thing. So perfect event. So join us next year.
Yes.
So what are some of your other takeaways you want to share? I've got some quotes from Joel Salatin that I just loved.
Take it away. I love Joel, and I can't wait to hear what you wrote down from him.
So I wrote down a ton, but one of my favorite things he said, it was so funny because, he's quite comedic. And one of the things that he really talks about is how we can do everything local. We don't need to purchase things from, we don't need to purchase fertilizer from Russia to have a successful, farming industry.
You shouldn't need commercial fertilizer at all.
No, you do not. And the comment he made that just cracked me up, and I had to write it in quotes. People think 10-10-10 fertilizer is sexy, but there's a lot more sex happening in a compost pile.
That sounds just like him. I love it. And it's so true, right? It's so true.
All the natural microbes coming together. There are
Yes.
billions of organisms. We have no idea what's happening in there. And
I'm gonna tell you what, if you want to do a little test just to see how nature works, throw a piece of cardboard down.
Yeah.
And a little mulch, clean
Yep.
mulch on top, a few wood chips, give it a couple of weeks and then pull that cardboard up and see how many worms and microbes and little crawly, creepy things you got under there, because it just, as soon as it starts breaking down, it starts drawing in all of that, and that puts nutrients right into your ground.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Or your raised bed or whatever you're working with.
Yeah. Yeah. Something else he said that was very profound. He said, for life to happen, something has to die. That's normal. And he said that he compares that to Christ dying so that we can live.
Nice.
And I was like, how beautiful is that? And it's true. You know, compost is the act of things dying, but it brings so much life to your garden. You know, what you did was beautiful, where you brought it, you know, a tree had to die.
Yeah.
You got all those wood chips.
Yeah.
Spread it out everywhere. And then the life that your soil, I mean, it just was incredible.
And then I was able to plant 5 fruit trees in place of that one tree. So it's like, you know what? It's just that circle. We can improve the circle that happens, you know, and we can make it work for us instead of, you know, just letting it go.
Oh, it's such.
Or throwing it in the trash.
When you can create food forests.
Yeah.
I mean, and we can everywhere.
Absolutely. You know, no matter where you're at.
If you're in the middle of the city, you can create a food forest in your little pad of a yard. I mean, you can. Even
on a balcony, you know, if you're in an apartment. But when I ride through the city, what I notice these days is there are a lot of community gardens.
Oh,
and I
good.
think that's so wonderful. There's a little restaurant down deep in the city of Richmond, and there's a little restaurant, and beside it was an open lot. And the community took that open lot and made a community garden right next to this beautiful restaurant. So all these people that eat out on the patio of this restaurant get to enjoy the community garden. I love it.
That is amazing. I love that. I would love to see that more. You know, I mean, how much do our cities pay for just landscaping? You know, basic landscaping through the medians and things like that.
Yes.
Put fruit trees, throw some lettuce, you know, some lettuce seeds, and just let it go. You know, I mean, you could do so much there and give people, you know, a place to grab food.
I read an article on a little town that did that. They used their medians in the town to plant fruit trees. Yeah. And then when they're in harvest, they let anybody who wants it just come get it. I'm like, that's beautiful.
I mean, if they're paying public works people to maintain landscaped areas, why not pay them to maintain garden areas, food areas?
Food,
you know,
right.
And our homeless folks downtown that can, you know, that are getting thrown garbage, you know, it's like, I can get not wanting to give them money. I totally have that understanding, and a very personal reason why I don't give money to homeless folks. But
you can do other things. You can get them other things.
But what do people most often do? Oh, well, let me just go run on that corner and get McDonald's and bring it to them. Right. And, you know, I get it. That's nice. You're providing them food. It's convenient. But how great would it be if they had access to fruits and vegetables grown right there in town? I think that's right. Amazing.
Yes. I walked out to my corner the other day, and all my neglected, untrellised blackberries are coming in a tremendous amount. I cannot wait to see how many I get. And I want to remind everybody, this blackberry patch started from a $4 little tiny plant from Aldi.
I remember that.
Has turned into 15 blackberry plants in my patch. And I've also been able to share blackberry plants with others.
Yes, she's brought me some. How many do I have out there? Like 4, I think you put in that pot for me?
Yeah, I think there's 4 or either 6.
Okay.
However many I can stick in there, I put it in there.
Well, I'm grateful, and I'm excited to watch it explode on our property.
It just amazes me that all of these blackberry plants have come from one little tiny blackberry plant that was on sale at Aldi.
That is wild. That is wild. I love it.
And we'll continue on, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So some other stuff that Joel Salatin mentioned, he said that in 1946, our average food traveled 40 miles. Today, our average food travels 1,500 miles.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
That's how much local community that we've lost.
Yeah. Also, in 1900, I love when he gives statistics. This is one of the smartest men I've ever met in my life, and I just can listen to him all day. In 1900, 1 calorie of energy was used to put 1 calorie on your table. Today, 15 calories of energy are used to put 1 calorie on our plate. Wow. So all these lies were being told that all of this industrial farming and that all of this conventional gardening and all of this monoculture that we all, have, and all of these poor animals that are, being housed in these horrible conditions.
Yep.
We're being told that this is in the name of efficiency.
Yep.
It's lies, y'all. You would think that 125 years later, we would be expending less energy to get the food that we are getting. That is an incredible. We're spending 15 times the energy that we did in 1900 to feed everybody.
Well, just think about home. If you home grow a tomato, let's use tomatoes example.
Right.
Okay. No statement has ever been more true than a tomato from the grocery store tastes like disappointment.
Yes, that's what he said.
Because there is no comparison. There's no comparison to a tomato from the grocery store to a tomato that's homegrown. The homegrown tomato is full of flavor.
Oh, yeah.
The tomato from the grocery store has no taste.
None.
Neither
do the radishes, neither do the green beans.
There's no flavor. Because there's no nutrients.
That's one of the things he said too. He said, no wonder our kids don't like vegetables.
Yep.
Because they're getting them from the grocery store. They have no idea what they really taste like. Yep. I mean, they do not taste well.
I never was a true believer in that until I started growing asparagus years ago. And I was able to pull an asparagus up and just eat it right there in the garden. Holy cow. It was a total game changer because that really proved to me what it really tastes like versus what I had been buying and eating for years.
That was just like Bill. So Bill never had a garden in his life until we got together. And the very first year that we grew a garden together, and we always plant radishes first, because not only are they able to go in the ground really early, but they are just talk about instant gratification.
Yes.
They grow in 3 weeks. You have from seed to your salad.
The harvest. That's right.
It's amazing. So the very first time I saw him bite a homegrown radish, same thing, standing right there in the garden, and his face.
It's amazing.
He said, babe, I've never tasted a radish that tastes like this. I said, because you've never had a homegrown radish. You've had this garbage because what people need to understand is the grocery store, they're not taking the time to raise them the way nature intended. They're doing what I call force grow. Yep. They might be growing them organically, but they are still growing them in conditions that are going to make things grow faster than the speed of light, because, speed means profits, right?
Yeah.
But they're being they're less nutritious. They certainly are less taste. I mean, it's just what you're getting in the grocery store is.
And if you're not buying organic, just imagine everything that they're putting on it to keep it preserved, to make it to the grocery store.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And even sadly, we do the best we can. I always encourage organic when you can, or follow the EWG.org food lists. The Clean 15, the Dirty Dozen list, all of that. But the sad thing is, you can still have something raised organically that they then spray afterwards to preserve it. And that is disgusting, because that's our whole point. If we're spending all this money on organic vegetables, we want to know that what we're getting doesn't have chemicals, but they're getting away with spraying things on them to preserve them.
Yeah, because that's where the appeal stuff came from, wasn't it? And that,
awful stuff.
Yeah.
Awful stuff. So, something else that he said that I thought was really fascinating. He was talking about how breads and grains in their original form were very expensive, and they were treats. They were not something that were consumed all the time. They were rarely consumed until modern times. And what has happened is, because of all of our genetic modifications, we made the grain cheap. But unfortunately, we are getting exactly what we pay for. Cheap grain has devalued herbivores. All of our cows, all of our, chickens, everybody that likes to eat these grains, they're eating garbage.
Yep.
And so it has made the meat that we eat that eats grains so much less nutritious. Yep. And so we really need to be aware of that what our, we are what our food eats.
That's right.
As much as we are what we eat, we are what our food eats.
Yep. And also too, the way that they're raised, it matters. How the animals feel and whether they stress or don't stress shows up in their meat. Yeah. Which we consume.
Oh, yeah. And here was another statistic that was fascinating. 50 years ago, the average family spent 18% of their income on food. Food was never cheap in history. Okay. And 9% on healthcare. That was 50 years ago. Today, the average family spends 9% of their income on food and 18% or more on healthcare. Wow. So it's totally inverted. Wow. It's crazy. So, yeah.
Most of that food is junk.
Yeah. Yeah. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Which leads to the healthcare.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. Something else he talked about that I've talked about so many times, we both have, is we've got to get rid of the victimhood mentality. You got to end the I can't. You can. Whatever
you absolutely can. You were wonderfully and perfectly made.
Yes. End the victimhood mentality. Stop with the, I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't get healthier. I can't lose weight. I can't eat the right foods. Yes, you can. If you want it bad enough, you absolutely 100% can.
And a lot of times I think that it's just people get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Just start somewhere. Just pick one thing and make it consistent, and pick another thing. Wendy and I didn't change our kitchens overnight. I'm still in the process, and she is too, because the more that we learn, the more we realize different things that we need to change. We don't know it all. And we constantly learn. So we're constantly upgrading. We're constantly changing as we learn, because once you know better, typically you do better.
Yep. I finally found out today that is a Maya Angelou quote.
Once you know better. I did not know that.
Yeah, we say it all the time, and I saw somebody in a book quote it, and it said, "As Maya Angelou said," and I was like, "Wait a minute, when did he say that?" But no, now I know.
I love her. She has some good stuff.
Yes, she does. So, some of the other things I got from other speakers as well, something that we know, all good health starts with deep restorative sleep.
Yes.
That was echoed throughout the whole conference.
Yes. How much it matters and how much
it really does.
You're not getting it.
Also, the holistic dentist taught me something amazing, that when you breathe through your nose, we've always been taught to breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth, which isn't bad, but they were actually showing how the shape of your palate, whether or not you are snoring at night, has to do with weight, but it also can have a lot to do with your jaw, which, by the way, removing our molar teeth or our wisdom teeth is part of our problems. And, they were put there for a reason, and they were perfectly.
How many of us have had them taken out because we were told we needed to?
Yep. And that's insane. And that helps shape our jaw, which actually affects our health. Yeah. And they were talking about that when you breathe in through your nose, that you have 5 filters in your nose and in your sinuses. And so it kills off all these viruses. And each filter has a different purpose. So you've got like an antiviral one, you've got an antibacterial one, you've got anti-parasitic. I mean, it's incredible.
It's amazing
how we were designed. So we've got 5 filters in through our nose. We only have 1 filter when you breathe in through your mouth. You know what it is?
Would it be your tonsils?
Yes. And how many of us have had those daggone things removed?
I still have mine.
Well, I had mine.
Right, because when we were growing up, if your tonsils got swollen, that was the first thing they recommended was to get them taken out.
Yep. I used to get strep a lot when I was a kid. And so 7th grade, they yanked those suckers out. And so my only filter in my mouth protecting me when I breathe is gone. So, breathing in through our nose really helps filter the air, around us. I just thought that was really fascinating.
That is fascinating because I know a lot of deep meditative breathing. They'll have you count your breaths in, hold, count, and breathe out through your nose. Now, when I was doing Taekwondo for all those years, during those exercises and training, we were taught in through the nose, out through the mouth. Yeah. Because out through the mouth, when you were throwing a punch or a kick, that gave you more power.
Sure. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
So it all depends on the purpose, but for filtering purposes and breathing better, I would say in through the nose, out through the nose.
Yeah. Well, and they said too, and I went to actually 2 different seminars that taught this. There was one lady talking about about baby health and how they breathe. Yeah. And so when you breathe, you should sit up tall and just pay attention to where your tongue rests in your mouth. It should rest naturally on the roof of your mouth, right against the palate. You've got that perfectly shaped palate that holds your tongue. That's where it should be. And when you breathe in through your nose and out through your nose, it should feel very natural, and your tongue shouldn't feel like it needs to move or adjust to be able to make that happen. So I thought that was really interesting. So also, I don't remember if I mentioned this last week because I was so blown away. I might have mentioned it early, even though I planned on talking about it this week. 50 years ago, I get so many questions from people. Why is gluten so bad? I do just fine with gluten. Nobody does fine with gluten, y'all. Newsflash. Hate to tell you, even all you sourdough freaks, I love you.
Eventually it catches up. And if we can learn to do sourdough gluten-free, why not?
I want to so bad, especially now that we found that good one from Charcoal Bakery.
Yes. And I found a class from that Hobby Hill Farm in Powhatan that I like. It's already sold out. It's sold out before I could even sign up for it. So I am hoping and praying that she offers more, because there was only one weekend that I could do it, and it was sold out for that weekend already. So I'm going to keep an eye on that, because we are going to figure out the gluten-free sourdough.
Yes. And I mean that with all respect, but y'all don't understand. Yes, it is better when it's sprouted. It is better when it is fermented, which is what sourdough does. Yes, better than garbage, sure. But it's still not great. And the reason is 50 years ago, the amount of gluten that we consume today in one slice of bread, 50 years ago, you would have had to have eaten 40 to 60 slices to get the same amount of gluten. So y'all, the bread is not what it was, okay? Right. The gluten is poisoning us. It's causing leaky gut syndrome. It is breaking down our gut microbiome. It is causing anxiety, depression.
So if you're having regular sourdough, then it's kind of defeating the purpose of having the fermented, because the gluten and the fermentation are kind of fighting each other, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the gluten is a protein that is going to remain in there. Is it better when it's fermented? Of course it is.
Okay.
Natural living foods, fermented foods are better for you. But better than what? You know what I'm saying?
Because the goal is best. Our goal is best.
Right. The goal is healthy. And so while I can appreciate that it is better to consume the sprouted grains and the
bread,
the sourdough bread, you are still consuming way more gluten than our bodies were ever designed to. So I just really caution y'all against that and understand why there are so many crazies out there like us who have gone gluten-free and committed to that, because it's devastating to our guts. It really is.
And that's where true health is derived from, is having a healthy gut.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see if there's anything else. Speaking of leaky gut, 80% of chronic diagnosis patients. So 80% of people that have any kind of chronic diagnosis, that's high blood pressure, diabetes, thyroid disorder, anything, have leaky gut. Why is that? Because of the garbage that we've been feeding our bodies. So yeah, I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on, but I'm telling you, the nuggets we got out of that was just incredible.
It was amazing, and as long as they do it, I can see myself attending.
Oh heck yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
My only regret is that we didn't know about it when it first started.
I knew something else that I heard that I thought was interesting. We talk about all these different toxins that are causing the neurological disorders nowadays, whether it be we have been taught to villainize fat, which is garbage. I mean, we need healthy fats for our brain health, whether it be all the glyphosates we're consuming or any of the other toxins we're consuming. But that is to blame for a lot of the rise in Alzheimer's and Parkinson's.
Yeah.
The functional chiropractor that spoke that day said that constipation and slow gut motility is one of the first early signs of Parkinson's disease.
Oh, wow.
So, and that could happen 20 years before you get the symptoms that a conventional doctor will then go, you might have Parkinson's.
Yeah.
So important to be treating your body well early, and also to be paying attention to the earliest warning signs of something being off.
Yeah.
So
gives you a whole lot more time to correct it, when you find things early.
Yes. Yes.
One of the fasting classes that I took, it was fasting without faith.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I've been reading her book. It's really
faith.
good. Mm-hmm.
She talks a lot about God sending who we need when we need it, and I found that to be very, very true. She also talked about not fasting when you're stressed, because it's counterproductive.
Very true.
More stress equals slower metabolism, which we know that to be true.
Yes.
Faithful fasting. She talked about 72-hour fast. Decreases inflammation, gives you mental clarity, fastest way to naturally feel better, increases focus, decreases food noise, builds discipline, and also builds confidence. And fasting without faith, to me, is not a true fast. Okay. So the spiritual benefits of fasting: your daily prayers while fasting will calm your nerves. Your relationship with God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit brings peace and will give you purpose. Along with that, mental clarity replaces chaos with connection. which I found that to be beautiful because we know that's so true.
We live in chaos. We have to have, I can't imagine living in chaos and not having Jesus. Oh my goodness.
And it replaces deprivation of food with satisfaction because we realize that everything's not about the food.
Right.
Food is just what keeps our bodies going.
Well, and you took part in my dissertation research study.
Yes.
And that was one of the biggest focuses because for anybody that hadn't heard me talk about it, I did it on smoothie fasting and, and recognizing one of the greatest things that I learned about that myself before rolling that out to people like Wendy and, and other people that were helping me with my dissertation research. I did it on myself first. I didn't realize how much I was going to food when I needed God. It was so eye-opening because I knew, because with my smoothie fasting, you're getting caloric intake, you're getting what you need, physically.
You're not physically hungry.
No.
But you have to overcome the mental of wanting to go look for something or that.
It's amazing. It's amazing when you do that and you recognize, wow, I have no reason to be physically hungry. So what is it my soul is thinking it needs in that refrigerator or in that pantry or in the bottom of that chip bag? What am I searching for? And if you really are honest with yourself, it's you're soothing boredom, you're soothing procrastination, you're soothing stress, you're soothing, emotions when there's only one soother, one healer of all that. And so we're going to the wrong thing. So it's an incredible thing when you fast.
Yeah. And I loved, she made a comment, one of the very last comments she made in the class was faith makes fasting a form of worship.
I love that.
Yeah, because it's like, that really, I can already tell my next fast, my mind shift will be set on that.
Yeah.
Because it will help me through that.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, the best thing that I ever did for my fasting was to memorize 1 Corinthians 10:13. So write that one down.
I'm writing.
The temptations of your life are no different from what others experience, and God is faithful. He will not allow a temptation to be more than you can stand, and when you are tempted, he will show you a way out so you can endure.
Yes, I love that.
Repeated that so many times when I have been fasting, and I'm just like, oh, I want something.
Yeah, because more times than not, once you get through that moment, it goes away and it stops. It's just a matter of
a glass of water. You'll be just fine.
Or tea, or an herbal tea.
Yeah.
Something. It will pass.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, one of my greatest tools in my tool belt is always peppermint tea because it just satisfies, and that's all, a nice hot peppermint tea just It definitely
will satisfy any craving. Yeah. Any craving at all.
Yeah, for sure. So that verse I was trying to quote earlier, I have it pulled up because I see my Facebook now. A wise person is hungry for truth while the fool feeds on trash. Proverbs 15:14. Now, of course, that can be utilized, that can be used in any form, but that just really jumped out at me that, even what we're listening to, what music are you listening to? Yeah. What news are you listening to? Are you in the middle of the day listening to podcasts that cause you angst and anger, or are you listening to praise and worship music? Or
I have found that there's a lot of podcasts out there that are doing a lot of fear mongering right now. And I'm like, people that are listening to some of this are probably really stressed.
You can see it. You can see it in the Facebook posts. The posts that I see, and I'm just like, whoa, Lordy B, the world it's like Chicken Little. The sky is falling. And I am just, you can tell what people are feeding their souls with. And you're in control of that, y'all. Yeah. You are in control of what you're listening to, what you're paying attention to, what you're investing in. You are in control of all this. And it's garbage in, garbage out. Same thing goes with what you're listening to. So
what was that verse again? Proverbs what?
15:14.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a good one this morning. That really hit home. It really hit home. So I'm gonna get personal real quick. And I know that you can't, we got to get off here because you got.
I'll say we're going to have to make this a part 2.
Yes. I'm going to get real personal, but I'll make it fast. So I want to share this as food for thought for women out there who listen to us about perimenopausal world. Okay. I am a living example. And that doesn't mean I'm perfect. That doesn't mean I get it right all the time. I am a living example that it is not natural to have all of these horrible, debilitating menopausal symptoms. Yep. Okay. I am clearly going through my change of life.
Same.
My body is slowing down as far as the girl stuff. And, but I was sitting there and I was telling my husband the other day, what a blessing it is, because as I know, as all the real physical symptoms are showing me, periods are slowing down, not happening as often, probably about every 3 months now. And, things like that. I'm not having hot flashes.
Nope.
I'm not having the crazy wild mood swings.
Nope.
I'm not having, the just all the things that go along with
the fatigue
menopause, fatigue, the weight gain, all that stuff.
Yep.
That is because I'm fueling my body properly. People do not associate hot flashes, for example, with inflammation. 100% it is related. I can't tell you how many women I have been able to help get rid of debilitating hot flashes, like massive
night sweats. Yeah, and night sweats too.
Just by getting them eating the right foods, or by finding out that maybe they're having a reaction to nightshade vegetables or something like that. We go through all this stuff in my program, and I'm just telling y'all, if you are suffering, stop suffering.
You don't have to.
No, let me help you, because it really is. It's, when I started down this path, I wasn't 40 yet. So I could tell people till I was blue in the face that, oh yeah, this is going to help you with menopause and everything. I wasn't going through it yet. Now I am. And it still helps with menopause, y'all. As a matter of fact, I am even more excited about how much it helps with this. And so just know that you do not have to suffer. So if you are absolutely miserable with all those symptoms, reach out to me and I can help you. I mean, it can be through any number of programs. It can be through a consult. But if you reach out to me and let me walk you through what we do to eliminate those, I'm telling you, it'll change your life.
Absolutely. In more ways than one.
All right, girl, what you got going on this week? I know
fermented vegetables, since I had to be rigidly flexible and switch up my schedule for outside, inside. Mm-hmm. I will also, it's that time of year again, so I will also be making homemade sunscreen and after sun care, all of that for, the season. Plus I'll be making seasonal soap because I like to change up my soaps depending on the season.
I love it.
How about you? What's going on in the next week?
I need to make laundry detergent. My husband informed me that he used the last of it last night. So that is
priority.
That is on the immediate priority list. I'm going to get, hopefully, my strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, and elderberries all planted this week.
Nice.
I have some cabinets to put together in the rainy parts of the day, so I can do that inside.
Okay.
And from there, I hope to get started on the vegetable garden, because I totally have not planted veggie one yet, but
that's okay.
Just moving in.
We'll do it. Get there, and if not, there's always fall veggies.
Yes, for sure. But and one thing real quick, we are taking pre-orders for our for all of our summer weeks for our brand new for Grace and Grove homesteads. My husband and I have our homestead now for our meal prep service. So please, if you're not on my email list and haven't seen the information about how to do this,
if y'all are in the area, y'all should definitely take advantage of this. I'm jealous because I'm not in the area.
Yeah, we're servicing York and Adams County, Pennsylvania, Carroll, Frederick, and Baltimore counties in Maryland. And I'm only taking 10 clients a week, only 10 customers a week. So you want to pre-order. And if you pre-order, I'm giving discounts. So, and this is just to help us get, some capital built up because we're going to have a lot of bulk food to buy to prepare for this. So anyway, y'all reach out to me if you're not on my email list and make sure that you get the information if you're interested.
Exciting.
All right. Well, we will see you all next Wednesday. How the heck did we go over an hour? I mean, it just time flies when we're having fun.
We have no problem.
No, we have no problem. That is our world. All right. We love you guys. Have an amazing week, and we will see you all next Wednesday.